Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? Are you having a good time? This is a giant room. It's so great to see you all. Thank you so much for being here in support of Ars Nova's 20th anniversary. Thank you. Tonight, we're also here to celebrate my co-founders and friends, Jenny and John Steingart. Jenny, you look absolutely beautiful tonight. And John, I want to start with the most important thing you've ever taught me. Always Del Taco. 20 years ago, there was a turning point in my career that I did not see coming. My pal, Mandy Hackett, suggested, shout out to Mandy, Mandy suggested that I meet the couple who had opened a new building where she had an office on 54th Street between 10th and 11th. Where? New Jersey. They were looking for someone to help program their new 99-seat theater, or maybe that was the job. It wasn't really clear. But Mandy said they're good people with good ideas and a determination to make them happen. You should just meet them. Always take the meeting. Walking in for the first time, I remember being immediately taken by the building itself. Brand new, impeccably designed, tasteful, with a flawless aesthetic and a point of view. As much as we love our downtown performance spaces and storied old theaters, they're legendarily dusty. I should have thought, uh-oh, cool theaters do not look like this. But I admit I was overtaken with the care that had clearly gone into making this place. It's a visceral feeling I still experience walking into Ars Nova today. The remote location and the surprises waiting inside the building gave the whole meeting a feeling of arriving in Oz. Whether by happy accident or design, the attention to detail Jenny and John put into this magical place would eventually feed directly into Ars Nova's mission. What was possible if you gave an emerging artist with a great idea and no track record, a professional state-of-the-art environment as a playground? We were about to find out. The three of us hit it off from the start. We had very different backgrounds and a Venn diagram of interests. Jenny and I were theater geeks, and John fanned my penchant for comedy and variety. We all loved Rufus Wainwright, which is to say, music. And they sent me away from our first conversation with a license to dream. I think they may have been expecting me to come back with a short list of names we could all discuss, but instead, probably out of overexcitement more than overachievement, I created this full chart of comedy, music, theater artists, all of whom I was so excited about programming. I remember us talking through my entire matrix to the point that we were practically beginning to just program together. And it wasn't until years later that they would tell me, it wasn't so much the people we knew and shared your love of, it was all the people we didn't know and your enthusiasm for them that sealed the deal. They listened to my excitement and they said yes. In those early days, we were all right there in the weeds together. Jenny was designing each night's show program and would end her workday right there at the copy machine, pregnant with Leo, before we all went down to watch the show. John was always causing trouble. He was the king of the surprise movie day, where we would be called into an emergency meeting only to be handed movie tickets and told we needed to be there an hour later. I highly encourage you all to adopt this practice with your own staff. They encouraged me to push us toward the unknown as together we worked out what Ars Nova could be. There was permission to try, and to fail, and to try again. It wasn't a matter of understanding every choice I made. It was a matter of trusting what was possible. They said, only pursue what you are passionate about. That idea, that gift, became foundational in how Ars Nova supports artists. We don't have to understand everything they're doing to trust in what they are trying. That core faith allows artists to be endlessly courageous and bold. I've had the privilege of being Jenny and John's third founder for nearly 20 years now. I often emphasize how Ars Nova's job isn't to evaluate a resume, but rather to spot the P for potential. When I see an artist like James Monaco, who you saw perform earlier tonight, right? Adrenaline takes over me. I'm completely intrigued. I'm hooked. And I want to be a part of figuring it out. And Jenny and John were the first people to say, yes, you can. Yes, follow that. They saw my P for potential all those years ago and took a chance on me. That chance, that spirit of risk-taking and inclusivity and adventureness has resulted in Ars Nova taking chances on literally thousands of artists and changing countless lives, all thanks to Jenny and John. Now, as many of you, but not everyone here may know, several years ago, John was diagnosed with a serious illness. Often when people receive life-altering news, they retreat. They focus on the things that they are being cheated out of, what they are losing. And although I have no doubt that the whole Steingart family has struggled with all those impulses and complicated feelings, the way John and Jenny reacted in the face of his diagnosis says everything you need to know about their values and character. In the aftermath of the news, John and Jenny reached out to let us know that they were gifting the Ars Nova building to the organization. That magical, Oz-like building that has offered so much to so many. Their desire was to ensure that the theater would never be dependent on them or on any one person. They viewed themselves as custodians of the building, they said, and wanted to guarantee that Ars Nova would last far beyond the lifespan of any of us in this room. I could stand here and tell you so many stories about our partnership and our friendship, but the real takeaway for me is simple. Jenny and John had an idea. They surrounded themselves with collaborators, and we poured fuel on their idea. They stayed curious and devoted, and have consistently stuck with Ars Nova time and time again, especially in times when the organization has needed it most. They've stepped in to ensure the mission remains the focus, and they've stepped out to let the organization flourish beyond their wildest dreams. Ars Nova has become more than their founding impulse. It takes more of us to keep it alive and thriving now. But their dreams, their passions, their commitments to that initial idea never faded and have made so much possible. We are so forever grateful. So thank you, John and Jenny, for taking a chance on me, for being my partner, for bringing me and Zach into your family, and for shining a bright light on the ever-expanding Ars Nova community. You've created a landmark. Ars Nova is now one of the great surprises of New York.